logically doesn't work. Then you have to, honestly, you have to add this to the mix too. Because that's a work of Joseph Smith. This is a work of Joseph Smith. Now you've got a new translation. That's just a confusing mess. And there's, John 1:1 isn't the same as John 1:1 in here. And Romans 4:16 isn't the same as Romans 4:16 in here. And Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah isn't the same. And the Torah isn't the same. And then you have this reflected more in this. It's hard for me to grasp how logically you can believe in that whole ball of wax without having what's called cognitive dissonance, which is these contradictory beliefs that cause great confusion.
Yeah. For me to answer your question, it's going to take a lot of study. And I have to come to grips in my own mind as to, I can't just take your word for it, I have to study it out for myself.
Absolutely. And let me just end by saying this. If it's simple, logically I think it has to be. Because I don't believe that God says, He says, to understand His truth, that we got to be more like children, not more like scholars. So bottom line, it's got to be simple. I think He makes it simple for our protection. I think Deuteronomy 18, test of the prophet, is simple for a reason by God's design.
It is.
And when you apply Deuteronomy 18, that simple test to Joseph Smith, and you put him to death, this is what happens. And I believe that is where peace is. And where the confusion ceases to manipulate and to where you can go, okay, now the confusion's gone. Now I can go into what the Bible says about what the problem is and what the solution is and how Jesus is that solution, both the Old Testament and the New Testament, and really begin to be free. While Greg remains a member of the LDS Church, he made a commitment with me that he would thoroughly study these things out for himself, and I am convinced that anyone who is willing to do the same will fulfill the promise that Jesus made almost 2,000 years ago. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.